We've got another jam-packed episode of the BCU Basketball Wildcat Insider Show here for you today, and we're coming to you from the Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune Performing Arts Center. With Brian Harvey, I'm Nolan Alexander. Brian, basketball season continues to roll on. January was a huge month for both the men's and the women's team, and let's start out with this women's team. Target on their backs this year, yet they have continued to find a way to go on the road and get victory after victory. Had a huge road swing with a pair of wins at Norfolk State and a big one at Hampton.
Nolan, you just said it, huge road wins, huge road swing, and a little bit different from what the men did earlier this year. The women had a lot of home games this year, and I think that kind of helped them to be able to get that mode and get that, hey, we got the home crowd behind us. So that helped them to be able to go on the road later and say, you know what, we knew we can win at home. Now let's try to test ourselves on the road. No problem. You know, test passed, A+. You're talking about Hampton, Norfolk State, two perennial powers in this league. And then, of course, coming home and having wins over Florida A&M and then, you know, a couple of non-conference games against JU, SLU, those games helped them. Those close games really helped them. And now you talk about going to Hampton at HU Convocation Center. You're talking about perennial champ in this league. David Six always has a great program up there. Hampton always does it well. Two big wins for Bethune-Cookman. That's all you need to say. Two big wins, road wins at that, and they're going to be a premium in this league, road wins.
Yes, they are, and something that's been similar for the Wildcats when they've gotten these victories on the road is how well they have performed in the fourth quarter, especially on the defensive side.
You talk about defense winning championships. That is key. No longer is Kaylin Williams here. So you're talking about Big K being in the middle, being able to block shots. They're doing it differently now. They're starting to mix up some zone. They're doing some matchup zone. They're starting to go man-to-man coming out of it. If somebody gets hot, they'll go to a box and one. That kind of helped a couple years ago when Kendra Cooper and Chastity Renee Lake Taylor were here, and teams will go to a box and one. Now they know how to do that themselves now. You get that hot shooter, you close her out. And with Kaylin Williams not being there, people have had to step up and adjust, Nolan. They have done that very well, especially, like you said, fourth quarter. That is what wins games, defense, and they're doing it.
Brian, to switch over to the men's side, the Wildcats started out 5-0 in the MEAC this year. That matched their best start in program history since they joined the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference in the year 1980. Went on the road, same road swing as the women, Hampton and Norfolk State, and they suffered a couple of losses, a buzzer beater against Norfolk State. And the coaches knew it's difficult to go 16-0 in any conference, right. So there's going to be a point when this team is going to suffer a loss. How do they respond? And I think that's a big critical moment in this Wildcat season.
You know what? I think you just said it. It's a critical moment in this season right now, and you talk about how do you respond. Well, I think they respond just fine. You come back home, you get yourself back into the home crowd, you get yourself back into the flow, you get your confidence, you get the air back up in you. Going on the road earlier this year only helped this team. Washington State, Kennesaw, those games really helped and got them in that mode of, hey, we got to go away from more every now and then. The home crowd's not going to be with us every time. And you go to Eccles Hall, you go to a HU Convocation Center where crowd's rowdy. You got used to that on the road, going to Wazoo and Washington. That helped them right now. But how do you bounce back from a tough loss? Like you said, you knew it was coming. You knew some tough losses were going to come, and this staff knew it wasn't going to be a 16-0 year. That's just not going to happen right now. But how did they respond? I think they respond just fine. Come home, get your breath back in you, get back in your home locker room, get back into your home rhythm, in more gym, go back to work. It's nothing more to be said.
The men's team will play 6 of their final 9 regular season games inside the friendly confines of historic Moore Gymnasium. In addition to the quick start in January, we saw the rise of the transfer Sufiani Diakite. Likes to go by the name Sufi. You see him number 11 on his back, the forward out of the Bronx. Had 6 double-doubles in the month of January. A complete rise to stardom for BCU. He has been a great hustle player for the Cats.
He's a perpetual motion machine. The guy just keeps going. It's wave after wave after wave. And you talk about a double-double machine as well. This kid, you're talking about a New York type of kid. He's tough. He's gritty. He's someone that's going to give you that pound down on the glass. He's a guy that really does not mind putting his body on the line, getting up there for it. But he's going to give you those scrappy points as well. Those second chance points. That's something that's been big for the Cats this year. And Sufi, like I said, perpetual motion machine. He doesn't stop.
So for the Wildcats, 6 of their final 9 played at home in historic Moore Gymnasium. Brian, if I want to get tickets to the game, how do I go about these tickets? Where do I go?
You got to go to bcuathletics.com. You know, that's the one-stop shop for everything for BCU. Men's basketball, women's basketball. You can also go to BCU Hoops, BCU WBB on Twitter, but also Ticketmaster. Don't forget, that's one thing we never talk about. Ticketmaster, get your tickets, because if not, you're going to be outside Moore Gym waiting on us to do the recap.
And our friends right here at the BCU box office here at the Mary McLeod Bethune Performing Arts Center. So much more to get to today here on the BCU Basketball Wildcat Insider. You're going to meet some of our student athletes and see what they do outside the court and some of their unique abilities. It's all coming up next. Stick with us.
one team, one shot, one dance. The 2018 MEAC Basketball Tournament is back at Scope Arena in Norfolk, Virginia. It's 6 days of non-stop action as your favorite MEAC men's and women's basketball teams battle it out on the court for the right to play in the big dance. Get your tickets today at MEACHoops.com. Member institutions and Ticketmaster. March 5th through 10th at Scope Arena as the road to the big dance goes through Norfolk.
At BCU, every game is a life lesson.
A chance to show faith,
respect,
and sportsmanship.
It's bigger than winning or losing.
There's life beyond the game. Opportunities beyond the classroom.
Responsibilities to our community.
On a much larger stage.
As ambassadors to the world.
Leaders, champions, we are Wildcats. And we believe in faith, integrity, and love. Enter to learn, depart to serve. That's the Bethune-Cookman way. Go Wildcats!
The DNA of Bethune-Cookman comes from the heart of a great woman whose legacy lives on today in each and every Wildcat.
I leave you love.
I leave you hope.
I leave you a thirst for education.
I leave you faith.
I leave you, finally, a responsibility to our young people.
Great leaders always leave something for others to follow.
What will you leave us?
In the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, success for our student athletes isn't just measured by wins and losses, points on the scoreboard, or individual stats. It's also measured by their performance in the classroom, in the community, and ultimately graduation. Our student athletes aren't just playing to win a single game, they're playing to win at life. Because games end, but life keeps on going. The MEAC, educating student athletes for the game of life.
And thanks for joining us on the BCU Wildcat Basketball Insider with Brian Harvey. I'm Nolan Alexander. Brian, homecomings are great. We love homecomings, but sometimes they're not easy for players. However, for junior point guard Malik Maitland, he's done a wonderful job coming back to his hometown and leading the Wildcats on the floor this year.
Absolutely. You said it. He leads the Wildcats on the court. This is a guy that's a general. He's the leader. He's the guy that Ryan Ritter had all the targets on when he came in. He said, I want to focus all my efforts in recruiting right now on getting a leader on the court. They went out. They got Malik Maitland, the former Father Lopez guy. This guy, just like we said about Sufi, he's a perpetual motion machine as well. And not to pun intended here right now, he's a wave. You know, this is a guy that just wave after wave. He's Father Lopez, you know, and Ryan knows it too, being a Father Lopez guy. He knew to scout that area. He knows what he wants. And this guy right here, this is the guy that fits Ryan Ritter's style of basketball. Malik Maitland, there's nothing else to say about him except just an absolute leader.
Well, let's waste no time and get to know a bit more about Malik Maitland.
You know, they're saying that if you can make it in New York, you can make it in anywhere. So I always kept that with me. But overall, you know, going to a different school, it actually, you know, I learned a lot from it. You know, from a public school, from a private school, it's a different environment. You know, what I believe and what is true to me. Like, for example, like God. You know, God is everything. Without God, I'm nothing. That's how I feel like. So, you know, He gave me a talent. I have to give Him the glory. So, you know, He gave me the talent to play this game, and I can't let Him down. You know, that's why winning is so important to me. You know, even though, you know, sometimes I don't need to score 30. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to get 12 assists. I just gotta get the job done. And depending on the situation in the game, you know, sometimes I just have to relax and let the game come to the team. When I came back from Morehead State, I had, you know, kids that I didn't even know or never seen before, they all come out and support me, you know, and show me love. And, you know, that's why I'm playing for my city. Yeah, I could say Daytona is my city because, you know, a lot of people believe in me, you know, and coming back and seeing faces and, you know, people coming up to me that I don't even know, you know, and kids asking me for my autograph that I don't know. It's a humble experience, and I just don't want them to let them down. Live through Him. I have this hashtag. It's getting bigger, it's getting wider, and I think Live Through Him exemplifies and overall explain who I am as a person. And I'm living through God each and every day. It's not, you know, I know we're all sinners, but if you want to be a better person, you don't have to It's all right. If you want to be a better person, you know, we all have that in ourselves, you know. We all have to help each other, you know. Nobody did anything by themselves. We all have a helping hand. So Malik Maitland is just a person that found Jesus and wanted his father to be proud. And, you know, my parents sacrificed so much for me, that I can't let them down. You know, I have to give what they gave me, you know, and make them proud and make everybody else proud. And understand that I'm only 5'10", 5'9", and I'm making my dreams come true. And coming back home is a dream. Playing in my city is a dream, you know, is seeing the people that, you know, I surround myself that I love, that I see, you know. How you doing, Coach? Coach Miller right there. I see, you know, like him, you know, he's like a father to me, you know. It just brings so much memories, so much joy, you know, that you gotta be thankful. You got one life to live and you don't know when you're gonna go. So Malik Maitland is just a thankful, humble, encouraged, lovable person that just want to be great. That's it.
Coming to Daytona Beach, I didn't know that I would be experiencing so many beautiful places. The beach is a beautiful place to be. The water really clears my mind, and on top of that, coming to Bethune-Cookman, it was my escape from everything else.
When I first stepped on this campus, I basically didn't have anything, just 2 bags to my name. But I immediately understood that this school is about family, unity, love.
She gave me love.
She gave me hope.
She gave me the thirst for education.
And most of all, she gave me the respect for the uses of power. We live in a way that reflects our deepest convictions. But most of all, we enter to learn and depart to serve. So take a look at Bethune-Cookman University.
Most Bethune-Cookman Lady Wildcats fans know Briana Hardy for what she can do here at historic Moore Gymnasium. She's a lockdown defender. She can take the occasional 3. She can drive to the rack. She is an all-around star for Bethune-Cookman. But did you know Briana Hardy's got more talents than just that? A few of her teammates do, and we had the opportunity to see Briana up close and personal with what she can do off the floor as well. A star piano player with an even better story. I'll turn it over to Brian Harvey for the Inside Scoop.
Briana, in from Maryland, just talk a little bit about how you got to come to play something like this. I mean, you're talking about Maryland. That's a basketball area. How did a girl from the streets on the courts come to the stage to playing something as delicate as a piano?
It happened for me my sophomore year of high school. I had tore my ACL about the mid-season, and I was kind of down. I was like, you know, what am I going to do? The thing I love I can't do right now because of the fact that I'm handicapped. So my older brother had a portable Casio piano he had since he was like maybe 10. He's probably like 20, 21 by then. So this is old. And I just was like, you know what? I'm going to try. I tried when I was a little kid, and I was like, no, Mom, I'm not going to do it. This is stupid. And next thing I know, within like a week or two, I could play, and I was like, wow. Like I self-taught myself. I mean, watch a few little videos on YouTube and stuff, but I pretty much self-taught myself by learning through songs and just different ways. And like, who would have thought that many years later I still would be playing, and I actually have gotten pretty good at it too.
What's the one thing that you enjoy doing? Is it classical? Is it contemporary? Is it kind of new age songs? What do you enjoy doing when you sit down and just say, I'm about to belt out a couple numbers here?
Depends on my mood. I can do gospel. I love gospel, being I was raised in the church, like with my mom and everything. And but really, I love that slow jam, R&B type feel, maybe jazz. That's like the best. You know, that kind of sparked interest for me in older jazz music, as in, you know, the 60s, the 50s, the 40s. Like I listen to that now, and my friends think I'm crazy, but you know, just playing the piano has made me appreciate that. And you know, even now in music, I can hear a piano, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a nice player, or you know, or they're flat, or they need, you know, I can judge now off of that, and you know, it's just a great gift, honestly.
You took a negative, made it into a positive. Girl, go ahead and hit me a number here. I'm waiting to hear this. I want to hear this old soul, this 1940s and 50s. I want to hear some.
One team, one shot, one dance. The 2018 MEAC Basketball Tournament is back at Scope Arena in Norfolk, Virginia. It's 6 days of non-stop action as your favorite MEAC men's and women's basketball teams battle it out on the court for the right to play in the big dance. Get your tickets today at MEACHoops.com. Member institutions and Ticketmaster. March 5th through 10th at Scope Arena as the road to the big dance goes through Norfolk.
At BCU, every game is a life lesson.
A chance to show faith,
respect,
and sportsmanship.
It's bigger than winning or losing.
There's life beyond the game. Opportunities beyond the classroom.
Responsibilities to our community
On a much larger stage.
As ambassadors to the world,
Leaders, champions, we are Wildcats. And we believe in faith, integrity, and love. Enter to learn, depart to serve. That's the Bethune-Cookman way. Go Wildcats!
The DNA of Bethune-Cookman comes from the heart of a great woman whose legacy lives on today in each and every Wildcat.
I leave you love.
I leave you hope.
I leave you a thirst for education.
I leave you faith.
I leave you finally a responsibility to our young people.
Great leaders always leave something for others to follow.
What will you leave us?
In the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, success for our student athletes isn't just measured by wins and losses, points on the scoreboard, or individual stats. It's also measured by their performance in the classroom, in the community, and ultimately graduation. Our student athletes aren't just playing to win a single game, they're playing to win at life. Because games end, but life keeps on going. The MEAC, educating student athletes for the game of life.
And welcome back. We know you love seeing the Wildcats at historic Moore Gymnasium, a packed house. The men's and the women's team have incredible records at home this year. But did you know there's a lot more that happens to make the game go on than just the 10 players for each side on the court, Brian?
Absolutely, Nolan. There's so much that goes into doing a game. It's not just 10 guys on the court, 10 women on the court, coaches on the sideline, and whoever else is on the scores table. It's so much more than that. You're talking about marketing. You're talking about the ticket takers. You're talking about the people that actually have to put on the game. So people like Alvin Wyatt Jr., they have to make sure the officials are taken care of. Nolan, it's so much that goes in behind it that people don't see, at least the average fan don't see. We see it, but the average fan has no idea what exactly goes into running a game and making it smooth.
Well, our crew noticed that, and they're going to give you a behind-the-scenes look at a BCU basketball game day.
Well, first I want to start out with the small things, which amount to the larger things. Game day breakdown, offloading from the teams coming to that we're playing, their housing aspect, the locker rooms of where they're going to be at, the officials, making sure they're taken care of from heat to ice, lubricant that they may need of any such. Those main things are the most important things, and our ticketing plays a great role in that, making sure the security is in place and everything moves fluently.
Typically, we are all in charge of all the pregame setup in the front of the house. So we have all the reserve ticketing, the will call ticketing over there. We have a list of all the patrons that comes in for the game. We also sell tickets during the game as well. We have $5 tickets and $10 tickets on game day. And our box office is right to your left. We're also in charge of all student tickets. They pick up the tickets up at ahead of time at the Performing Arts Center on campus through Monday through Friday.
Main obstacle is being under manpower. Sometimes I have student workers that may be coming to the facility late because of class or previous other jobs that they may have. So then we have the shorthand, and then we have to maintain certain areas that are normally manned by other people. So making sure that's taken care of, so we have to move swiftly.
All right, so it's either one of the two. Either you're a volunteer, wanting to be there for whatever, trying to get community service hours, or actually you're on a payroll and you're demanding to be there. Because I've been on payroll. I've been working at the box office for 3 years now.
Security plays a major role so that we have the doors manned at all times from exiting to entering, so that certain personnel is not allowed to come in from certain exits, and only exiting is done in those specific areas where the men's team comes in from one spot opposed to the fans, so there's no interaction between the two coming in.
We're just like the officials in a basketball game, technically. You're supposed to know that we're there, but never see us. So if you start paying attention to what security is doing, safety may have gotten out of hand. So we want to be in the midst and aware of a lot of the circumstances, and preventing them from becoming safety hazards. So what we do early in the process is we meet with stakeholders on campus that are engaged in the basketball game, like Ticketmaster, athletics department, and we engage in conversation and plan to move a large crowd on campus. Anywhere from sometimes to 800 to 1,000 people. We move in and out of the gymnasium, and we have to be prepared if a crisis should happen, where we would put those people, how we would move those people, how would we address them and educate them about safety. And those things come out of those meetings, those decisions come out of the meetings. Things like proper signage, directional signage, credentials, what a person looks like when they come in, the experience that they have when they first meet at the event, how to get them through. And normally that will determine how we go through the event.
Well, I can recall the padding coming off during a game. Had to immediately, once the timeout was given, I know that I only have about a minute and a half to get it back assessed and then back ready for play. So things of that nature may happen. Shot clock wiring may disconnect and we have to reconnect wiring. Playback for the officials has a tendency to wire out, but Cat Eye has been on top of that.
So during the week, what I do is I evaluate what the coaches want for their game. So for instance, this game was Greek night. Monday's game will be Think Pink and Valentine's Day. So I'll take the week to script out everything that needs to be scripted out and then get with students, figure out who my team's gonna be for that game, and then compile everything. I'll get with my sponsors and make sure that our giveaways are in order, and then we come to the show and I'll run around and cue everybody where they need to go. If the band needs to play, the band will play. If the DJ needs to play, if the students need to throw t-shirts, we'll get it done.
Well, that's all the time we have for you today. However, we certainly hope you enjoyed everything we brought to you for the men's and women's programs. Now, Brian, as we said earlier, a loaded February schedule here at home. So if you're getting ready for the games, where do you go?
There's no excuse not to find women's and men's basketball. BCU WBB on Twitter for the women's team. BCU Hoops for the men's team. BCUathletics.com. BCU Athletics on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, everything. And then also, if you want to get tickets, Ticketmaster.com. That is the #1 site to try to get tickets into more gyms. Don't call us. Stop calling us. We don't have tickets for you. They are not free. We pay for them as well. But no excuse not to find them on the BCUathletics.com.
You can also check them out here at the Mary McLeod Bethune Performing Arts Center at the BCU box office, where we're standing right now. So for our entire crew, my co-host Brian Harvey, I'm Nolan Alexander, and we'll see you at Historic Moore Gymnasium.